very much. Zander should join us here. Now let me. So wait a minute here. You know who the warm-up backs for Zander Krause were right now? Dick Vermeil and Merrill Reese. Holy shit. That's how big Z's getting here. Okay? This guy's on 24/7, giving out jerseys and shit, producing everything on the fly here. Absolutely great stuff. Let's get Zander up here for just a couple minutes. He's got a lot of work to do, but we cannot have him not here.
What's up, brother?
Right now. How you doing, brother? How about that, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Great interviews with Merrill and with Dick Vermeil. I thought that was pretty dope, man. I thought that was pretty dope. I got to be quick today, Sills. I got that. I got the night show coming in. So
who's coming on with Pat?
What's that?
Who's coming on with Pat?
We'll have Sal Palantonio again at the start. He will have Sean Green for your betting. He's going to do a Pat in the chat segment. All right, I gave him that idea, so make sure you guys show up for him and give him some questions and responses. And then at 7 o'clock, he has a Chiefs reporter. Let me give you the name. I have the name. I'm blanking on it right now. Jesse Newell. So he'll have the Chiefs reporter, and we'll get the update, early update on the Super Bowl, man.
Hey, so what do you make, real quick, 3 questions for you, Zander. What do you make of Kellen Moore getting the potential job there in New Orleans and becoming the new head football coach? And what I'm saying to you is that Frank Reich has been contacted by the Eagles, and potentially it's his job to turn down if he wants the job or not. Just your takeaway on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the setup isn't great, but it is what it is at this point. And you know, I will say, I know everybody does want the play calling head coach, but if you do look across the league, Sills, they're a lot more rare. You know, you need to have a really, really special guy to have success with that. In other words, if you don't have an Andy Reid level play calling head coach, I don't believe you're in 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. I truly believe that. Now, is it ideal that Kellen leaves? But can I also say one thing to everybody? All right. And this isn't my mindset, because I'm with Sileo in the sense of I want excellence. I want greatness. And even if you win the Super Bowl this year, you know what we're going to be talking about 3 weeks later? How do we get back? But can I just make a comment? If we raise a Lombardi trophy in 2 weeks, man, I don't give a fuck who's the offensive coordinator next year. All right? I don't give a shit. I get it. I get it. It's not great. You're going to have turnover. Jalen's got to learn another new offense. I understand. But if we're raising that Lombardi, man, you're not going to be bothering me about anything in the offseason when it comes to this team. So what am I supposed to do? Kellen Moore's been working his whole life to get a head coaching job. It is what it is. I'm not going to knock him for that. I don't think it's a good job. I know you said you kind of like it. I think it's going to be another Shane Steichen, where you go, and again, there's only 32 of them. You're making double the money. I get it. I'm not all right. I'm not knocking Kellen for going, but I will say, I don't think it's all always, you know, there's an old saying, grass isn't always greener on the other side. Now, it is greener when you go from making $3 million to $8 million. All right. So that part of it's greener. And I don't think anybody cares about the results maybe when you're making that type of money. But, you know, I care about my legacy. I do. And I'm young. I care about my legacy. And I'm not an NFL coach and I'm not pretending to be one. I'd like to think if I were in that position, I would approach it kind of like Ben Johnson did. And at first I thought Ben Johnson was a little bit of an asshole. I'm like, what do you mean you want $15 million and you have never coached in the league? But look at what he did. He went back this year to Detroit after denying people last year. He had the number 1 offense in the NFL. I know they had a letdown season, but the only thing that did was boosted Ben Johnson's legacy and who he is as a play caller and how coveted he would be as a head coach. If I'm Kellen Moore, I look at the Saints and I'm like, okay, I have the Saints who have nothing, are in cap hell, don't have great ownership, not bad, but not great. Mickey Loomis is okay. I mean, he's good. He's middle of the pack. Or I can stay with the Eagles for 1 more year. They have 2 Super Bowl runs in 3 years. They have an offense that there's not even a position on the offense I could ask to improve because every single position is dealt with. I don't know. I would prioritize at that point going back to Philly. Now, maybe that's eagle-colored glasses. Maybe that's not living in the real world where Kellen's going to take the job. I get that, but I don't know. You know, sometimes I just think, like, look at Spags. You think Spags is happier with his career right now than he would be if he was making double the money but had a bunch of failures? You know, I don't know. I get it. I get it. Believe me, nobody understands money more than me. All right. So don't sit here and tell me it's about the I know. Okay. I know. Believe me, I know about the money. But I don't know, man. I just think this Eagles team is so good. They're operating at such a high level. I think it's a really good job to have the offensive coordinator of the Eagles. And I would hang tight if it were me, but I get it.
All right. Finally here. How about Dick Vermeil not endorsing Nick Sirianni, man? He goes, there's 3 coaches. And one of them, he said, was they win in spite of. That's the one, of course, I'm hanging on.
That's a realization of that.
If he was elite, he couldn't answer the question. So I'm going to
Sileo-ize it. That's a
Sileo-ize it. How you doing?
Oh, man. That's a Sileo-ized version of what Dick Vermeil said.
Yeah, I heard Dick is Nick Sirianni, an elite coach. He goes, well, he wins. I go, you're either one of the 3. He fits in one of them.
Listen, he's got a good roster. All right, he's got a good roster. I get it, but I don't think having a good roster is a shoo-in for having a successful run. Not just 1 year, 3 years.
Look at Andy in Kansas City. He don't have the best roster when he lines up.
Well, okay. You're talking about a different guy now. Now you're talking about rarefied air when it comes to coaches. I'm not saying Nick is that. I'm saying he does deserve credit though for the success they've had. I know he's got a good roster. I understand, but he also doesn't have a generational quarterback like Andy Reid does. Same thing can be said about Howie Roseman. Look at the success there. And that's not a knock on Jalen Hurts. There's 3 of those quarterbacks that exist on the planet. So it's a little bit easier. Yeah, of all time, right. It's a little easier to have success when you have that player. That's a great equalizer. I think Nick, I've really come full circle on this. I really think he's a good coach, man. I really do. I think he has gotten to a point where he doesn't give a shit about what the outside says. He wants the guys in his locker room to believe in each other, in him, and in the process. And when I see guys go up and hug Nick and cry in his arms, and I see the way players talk about him, and I hear, some of the inside stories from the locker room about how they feel about him, I think he's done a good job at connecting with players, connecting with professional grown men who make millions of dollars. It's not so easy to do that. All right. It's really not. And when you have a locker room of 53 guys, really of more than that, of 70 or around 70 guys, it's hard to have all those guys bought in. And I really believe that's his best accolade, is having those guys bought in, because that comes from the coach. That doesn't come from Howie. That doesn't come from Jeffrey. That might not even come from Jalen Hurts. That comes from your head coach. And I think Nick's done a good job with that.
Well, I appreciate you just jumping on with us here. And how about this? They warmed up for Zander, Dick Vermeil, and Merrill Reese.
No, man, you get flexed out when you hear Dick Vermeil and Merrill Reese. You get flexed, big dog, and I'm good with that. I will never. That's what Okay, that's all right. I'm good. I love doing the segment, but you get.
You know what Zander just said? Jason Cole move his ass.
No, I didn't say I love Jason Cole. I think Jason Cole is actually one of the smarter football minds. One thing I love about your segment with Jason Cole, I always learn something about football. Yes. I've never listened to your segment with Jason Cole and didn't learn something about the game of football, whether it's history, the way the game's played, whatever it might be. So no, I don't want that. You took that was a silly lie. I don't disrespect Jason Cole, but fun show, man.
Make sure you tell Pat we're looking forward to seeing his show tonight with Sal Powell on there. A bunch of Super Bowl stuff that's following the program right after us. Please hit the like button. Big Z, thank you so much for finding time. Catch you down the road here on Birds 365 in the morning, brother, giving out that merch.
Yeah, man, a guy went and got a bunch of new jerseys today. I just want to thank everybody again. I know I do it every day, but it really means the world to me. So thank you all for all the support, man. You guys have made both Birds 365 and the National Football Show crush this season and on this Super Bowl run, and that's all because of you guys. So thank you all so much. Big Sales, great stuff, man. I'll catch you tomorrow.
You bet, Zander. Good job there as usual. Make sure you hit the like button. Our good friends, make sure during this time, you got 11 days to Super Bowl 59. Make sure you team up with our friends at BetUS. During this time, you can become partners like we are with BetUS when you guys invest with BetUS for the YouTube 150. The YouTube 150 gives you a sign-in bonus up to $2K, and then your second and third is 125%. And if you're into crypto, that's 200% up to $2K when it comes to your signing bonus. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Home of Michael Vick, the new Norfolk State head football coach. Fastest payouts in the business, 24/7. Personalized service 365 days of the year. Live wagering on every single major game. betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sil sent you.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.